Hello friends, today is again Tuesday, the 20th November 2018. Let's begin. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So let's begin. So we are still in stanza 18 only. This is part 2 part 2 of the lecture. So we will first move to the before going to the stanza, we will see the subject first, dive into the subject. In the last lecture we saw that the beings in the fine material sphere, the speciality is they have only 3 bases, contrary to 6 bases which we have. So the 3 bases which are functioning or very well, or the seeing, hearing and the heart base, or the thinking base. So now we will see something which is called as the Niramisa Sukha. Niramisa Sukha is the so let's see here. Amisa Sukha, for example, here the Amisa Sukha means the happiness that is derived from our body. From the Amisa means flesh through the flesh, whatever the happiness, the sukha or the joy or happiness that is derived is called as the Amisa Sukha. And then the opposite of this is called as the Niramisa Sukha. Niramisa means the joy that has nothing to do with our flesh, with the flesh. Flesh indicates the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching, inclusive of sexual and all sensual pleasures, belong to the Amisa Sukha, which is derived from the flesh. And Niramisa is the happiness that is different from which is also called the spiritual bliss, or the spiritual joy, non-sensual joy or the spiritual joy. And Amisa is the sensual joy, and then the non-sensual joy is the spiritual bliss. So the beings who are residing in the fine material spheres are able to experience the spiritual bliss starting from the Brahmas up to the highest pure abode. So from the first jhana to the 5th jhana, we experience the spiritual bliss or the Niramisa, some type of bliss. So first let us the jhanic bliss. Let me say it as the jhanic bliss. But they also experience another type of bliss, which is the Niramisa Sukha. The Niramisa Sukha is the bliss that is not related to the flesh. They also experience, and the meditators or the let us see how beings can experience this Niramisa Sukha. So is the wrong view, or the Miccha Ditti, or the wrong view is there below this line. This is the line. Below this line there is the wrong view, and above this is the right view. So the right view starts from here, starts from the Buddha Dhamma, which is the right view, which is based on the anicca, anatta and dukkha. Anicca, dukkha and anatta, whichever way you can say. Anicca, anatta and dukkha, or the impermanence, or the non-surety, or the non-surety of extension, of how we can extend our happiness, our wish or willingness cannot be extended to a long time. It will certainly fall down, and because there is the anatta is the non-belongingness. Nothing actually belongs to us. We are not master of anything. Everything comes into being by the karma vibhaga, or the by the action and the resultant, or the results of the action. Our body, what we have now, is the result of the resultant body, or the karma body of whatever we have done before in our past lives. And because we cannot extend our icha means wish. Our wish cannot be extended, or our happiness cannot be extended. There comes dukkha. Dukkha is the unsatisfaction on whatever we have or whatever we do is eventually coming about. So this is the core of wisdom of the Buddha Dhamma. So once a being comes into contact with this, so the wrong view gets reduced from here, and as we go up, the wrong view comes to zero here, and the anicca, anatta, dukkha become when our mind understands it, say for 0.1%, the niramisa sukha comes about, starts here, and then keeps on increasing. So here the jhanas can be plotted anywhere here. The jhanic bliss is the mental states in the meditative states, for example, and also these are beings called the stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and arahant. Arahant has the 100% niramisa sukha, or the happiness doesn't need the body at all. The body is simply there. When Buddha was living, he was so happy actually, even though that is called as the niramisa sukha, the sukha or the happiness, which comes from the liberation, from the freeing of the mind. So the freeing of the mind starts here. When we have the wrong view, the mind is attached to everything, the wrong views, and we cannot experience the niramisa sukha, the happiness of freedom through the wisdom of anicca, anatta, dukkha. So we can see here the niramisa sukha, the jumps from here, we have a quantum jump for every lokuttara attainment. We will see about it, the lokuttara attainments later. The 4 lokuttara attainments or stream enterer sotapanna. Once returning is the sakadagami, non-returner is the anagami and arahants. Once returner returns to our world once more. So the sukha keeps on increasing as a quantum leap, and it depends on these 3: understanding of the anicca, anatta, and dukkha. So what happens to the jhanas or the jhanic bliss here is, for example, if a stream enterer, the jhanic bliss has nothing to do with the niramisa sukha. The jhanic bliss comes from the consciousness, but the consciousness relating to these worlds, but the Niramisa Sukha comes from the liberation of our mind, or the liberation through the understanding of anicca, dukkha, anatta. Yeah, so anybody, below this is the normal people, below the stream enterers or the normal people, people who have little bit understood the anicca, anatta, dukkha, or destined to become sotapanna sooner or later, and they fall in this place. For example, I'm not sure if I am a sotapanna or not, so I consider I might be falling in this region. I have, to some extent, I have an increase of, to some extent, I'm experiencing the Niramisa Sukha, because to some extent I have understood the anicca, anatta, dukkha. My mind has to some extent opened to this, the core of Buddhist philosophy, or the Buddha Dhamma, anicca, anatta, dukkha. So in case a being is a sotapanna, the Niramisa Sukha will be pertaining to here. Perhaps, maybe, I think it is 25% here in the sotapanna stream enterer, and 50% here for the once returner, and then the 75% to the for the non-returner, and for the arahants it's the 100%. Niramisa Sukha is 100% here. So this Sukha is the Sukha, or the happiness, that is derived by the freedom that you experience, the freedom from the karmas, that the generation of karmas, that the wrong karmas or whatever the karmas, the freedom is the reason for the Niramisa Sukha. Let us now see the differences between the sensual, the happiness from the sensual sensuality, or the joy from the it should be called as the happiness from the joy, or happiness from the flesh happiness. This is the correct one. And then the non-flesh happiness is the correct word here. So what we have here is the Amisa Sukha is the flesh happiness, and the non-flesh Niramisa is the non-flesh happiness, or the spiritual happiness, or spiritual bliss. So let's first see the characteristics. The first characteristic is the Amisa Sukha is non-lasting or transient. They come and go. For example, when you get a good, very tasty food, then such happiness because of eating from the tongue, tasting, such happiness come. But the Niramisa Sukha, the Sukha of the spiritual bliss, which is coming from the freedom that we experience, is permanent. And since from the Amisa Sukha it's reversible, but here it's irreversible. Because the freedom comes from understanding, or the wisdom of anicca, anatta, dukkha, so it keeps on increasing, never comes down. There is a feeling of joy here, but here there is the feeling of exalted freedom. Of course, it is joy, but it is so fulfilling here, a fulfilling freedom, or the fulfilling joy. So let's change it as the fulfilling joy. fulfilling joy or the freedom. So this is what we experience, and then does it belong to the this or the and then the cause. Let us see the cause. Because of anicca, dukkha, anatta, because of understanding to some extent, at least to 0.1%, the anicca, dukkha, anatta, but this is from the ignorance. The amisa sukha is from the ignorance, and from wrong view also it can come. But because we have a body, also it can come. Having a body, so because of having a body also it can come. And then the condition is suffering is there in the flesh-based happiness, and no suffering is seen in the non-flesh based happiness or the spiritual bliss. The suffering is actually coming about when the happiness from the flesh comes to an end. There starts the suffering, but this one doesn't come to an end. So can it be attained by giving up things or not? Yes, amisa sukha. Yes and no. Sometimes by giving up things you cannot get it. Only by understanding the anicca, dukkha, anatta, even if you are rich or whatever, you can get it by understanding the anicca, dukkha, anatta. But here it can be got by we can say yes or no, but okay. So and then the beginning point of this is the normal situations, which is relating to all the sensual sphere and other spheres. And the first time when one comes into contact with the Buddha Dhamma, anicca, anatta, dukkha, this is where the niramisa sukha starts, and then it never decreases. But niramisa sukha never decreases. This amisa sukha decreases after every culmination of the amisa sukha, flesh-based happiness. After culmination, after the peaking of the flesh-based happiness, then the suffering starts. So it is a cyclical process, but here the niramisa sukha attenuates means increases, or there is also a stepwise sudden leaps from sotapanna to arahanthood, which we have seen before, and we will also talk about this in the future. And effect of the cultivation of jhanas, there is no effect on the amisa sukha or the happiness from the flesh. Has nothing to do with jhanas. The jhanas are related to the mind, so there is no effect of this. And then we will see about the quality. Quality is pleasurable only at the sensual level. At the senses, we can have pleasures when we have the flesh-based happiness, but this is a lot better than niramisa sukha is a lot better than the pleasure from senses, or even jhana. Even the jhanic pleasure, I think the jhanic pleasure is stronger, but not finer. The pleasure from the niramisa sukha is much finer and constant, and the jhanas we can lose at any level. For example, after some time when we get angry, or when we lose the jhana, the jhanic pleasure goes away, but here it doesn't go away. The niramisa sukha keeps on increasing, keeps on attenuating. Yeah, springing from flesh level or not? Yes, the flesh level is the amisa sukha, and not from flesh is the niramisa sukha. And then does it belong, for this question, does it belong to the Vedana Chetasika? Vedana is the feeling, Chetasika is the consciousness impression of feeling, consciousness impression of feeling. Yes, this amisa sukha, flesh-based happiness, belongs to the feeling, consciousness impression, or the Vedana Chetasika. But this is a feeling, but that doesn't that this comes from the freedom that is experienced, from the liberation we experience. This comes, but can be felt, but that does not directly come from the Vedana Chetasika or the feeling, consciousness impression. So this is special. So now we have come to know about the spiritual bliss. What is spiritual bliss, and some of the characteristics, and how and what jhanas, jhanic bliss or the jhanic cultivation has to do with this. The jhanic cultivation has nothing to do with the niramisa sukha. So this is what we can know from this. So now again going to the jhana parts. So the jhana parts we have seen in the last lecture. Let's see the jhana parts first. So the jhana parts, or the jhana anga, jhana parts, or the reflection, scrutiny. Reflection is the vitakka, scrutiny is vichara, piti zest, or the sudden excitement, and then the sukha vedana, or the happiness, feeling of happiness, the equanimous feeling, upekha vedana, and the ekagata. These are the 3, 4, 5, 6 or the jhananga, the jhana parts. So we will see what the jhana parts are doing, and what it is generally inhibiting. Inhibiting is what is the function of this is not allowing some negative thing to arise. So these are the positive things that arise, and the negative things, what they prohibit or what they stop is the thing which we are going to see now. So so here, so what the first one, the jhana parts, the first one is the vitakka, second one is the vichara, scrutiny, reflection is the first one. When we sit in meditation, first we have reflection of the mind, then the mental scrutiny, then we have the zest or the sudden excitement, then there is the happiness feeling or the sukha vedana, then comes the equanimous feeling, and there is always the one-pointedness all the time. So the one-pointedness, what it does is it prohibits the desire to act, or the chanda. Chanda means the desire to do something. For example, when we sit in meditation, we actually don't want to do anything. We just want to be with our mind in reflecting or scrutinizing, etc. So we don't want to, generally inhibiting the desire to act or desire to do something like running or sleeping or something like that. It just stops. So the inhibiting the desire, which is the basic necessary condition for meditative attainments of jhana. For any jhana to occur, we need the ekagata, or the one-pointedness should be there. So now the first thing is, when we sit in meditation, we have the reflection, mental reflection. All the thoughts come and go, and we reflect in the mind when we sit in meditation, which stops the consciousness impression or the defilement when we are in the first jhana. For example, in the first jhana, the vitakka stops the sloth and torpor. Sloth and torpor is called tīna middha. Tīna middha. Sloth is some type of sleepiness, or the torpor is also like the mind is very weak, or sleepy, or some type of weakness in the mind is stopped here. Sloth and torpor, tīna middha, when we reflect upon in meditation. And when we start to scrutinize the objects that come through the mental door, mind door, the mental defilement of doubt, vicikicca. Vicikicca is called as the doubt. Doubt is which is called as the skeptical doubt. The doubt is stopped. We just don't doubt. Generally, the skeptical doubt is about the Buddha himself, and any type of doubt is stopped by scrutiny, carefully scrutinizing the objects that is coming through the mind door. And then there arises, by scrutinizing, there arises the pīti, zest, or the sudden excitement, feeling of sudden excitement, which stops the vyapada, or the ill will. Ill will is stopped by, that's called as vyapada, is stopped by zest. When we get the pīti, the vyapada is stopped. So the this zest, pīti, actually is the part of is the belonging to the mental fabrication aggregate, or the sankhara kanda, which we will see in the second chapter later. And one-pointedness, as we saw, is the inhibiting the desire to act, or the chanda. Also here is the desire to have sex or something like that is inhibited here. So the desire to have sex or sexual feeling here is inhibited, which is not good for which is not the necessary condition for the meditative attainment of jhanas. And then comes the feeling of sukha vedana, or the happiness feeling. So the happiness feeling stops the consciousness impression, or the defilement of restlessness and worry, or the uddacca and kukucca. Uddacca is restlessness of the mind, and kukucca is worry. So this pair is stopped by, for example, when we start to reflect in the meditation, when we sit to meditate, there is the vitakka. So it stops this double of sloth and torpor, tīna middha. This pair it stops, and then in the first jhana, these two are stopped. And then in here, when we get the happiness feeling of the fourth jhana, this pair of restlessness and worry, or the uddacca, kukucca, is stopped, and this feeling of happiness is the feeling aggregate, belongs to the feeling aggregate of the vedana kanda. So vedana kanda, or the feeling. So, and then instead of happiness in the fifth jhana, we get the equanimous feeling, equanimous feeling or the upekka vedana. It is the essence of samadhi, essence of mindfulness, or the full perfect samadhi. Perfect mindfulness is the or is called as the equanimous feeling we get here in the fifth jhana. The Chetasika or the consciousness expression of restlessness and worry again is stopped here. Whether it be happiness or equanimous feeling, both the restlessness and worry is stopped, and also happiness is stopped here, which we which is actually lesser than which is actually a bit lower than equanimous feeling is stopped here. So this also, the equanimous feeling upekka vedana belongs to the feeling aggregate or the vedana kanda, and but zest, so the difference between the zest or the excitement feeling, you get the excitement this excitement comes in the, let's see, in the the zest you can clearly see in the third jhana. In the third jhana it's very perfectly seen, and then in the fourth jhana the happiness, the constant happiness, which is not excitement, but there is a the happiness doesn't come down or go up, it is constant, is seen in the fourth jhana, the third and fourth jhana. Third jhana is based on zest, and the fourth jhana is based on happiness, sukha. So let's see the difference between them. So here the zest or the piti is belonging to the mental fabrications aggregate, mental fabrication aggregate of mental fabrication, and then the happiness belongs to the feelings aggregate. We have seen about these aggregates. Just give me a minute. So here here there is one more here. Sorry, here it is there. So as you can see, in the five aggregates, the panchakhandas or the five aggregates, so there is in the Chetasika or the consciousness impression section, we have the feeling vedana khanda, perception sanya khanda, and then the sankhara khanda. So we can see that the happiness belongs to the feeling vedana khanda, but the excitement which you can get from the third jhana comes from the sankhara khanda. It is a type of mental fabrication. That's why we have the sudden excitement in the third jhana, which is the zest or the piti, which is the sudden excitement, which belongs to the sankhara khanda, piti, or the sudden excitement. Zest or the sudden excitement belongs to the mental fabrication, but the feeling of happiness or the sukha vedana, which we get in the fourth jhana, belongs to the vedana khanda, feeling, which is much purer, very pure and constant. So this we can see. And also the equanimous feeling also belongs to the feeling aggregate. Equanimous feeling is from here, which is much constant, but the mental fabrication or the sankhara khanda or the fabrication of the zest or the sudden excitement is a sort of fabrication. which is not constant. So now let us find what are the types of zest or the piti, what are the types of zest that fills in the third jhana. So the zest keeps on increasing as we go up. First comes the minor zest, is the hair rises hair on the body. Yeah, so the hair rises on the body. And then comes the momentary zest, which is felt like the flashes of lightning on the body. These things we can experience by when we meditate, and as we get to the third jhana, we can clearly see the level of zests. It depends on the person, which level of zest is experienced. Momentary zest is felt like flashes of lightning on the body, small flashes of lightning on the body. And showering zest is felt on the body again and again, like the waves on the seashore. The showering zest. So the thing is, the zest is not, as you can see, the zest is not a very constant thing. It's a type of mental fabrication. It is not so real, but you can see the excitement coming about. I have felt the excitement. And then uplifting zest is felt like the body is levitating, or the as though the body is very light. Meditators feel this also. And then there is the topmost zest, which is the pervading zest. Pervading zest fills the whole body like the water filling a pit. So the pervading zest, the meditators also feel this type of zest. And the form of zest I felt was this pervading zest, I think, which was filling the body, but it was felt more on the head. I felt it a lot. It was like my head was filled up with zest suddenly. So it was a sudden feeling of excitement, and the excitement was there. But yeah, and then let's go. But the feeling of happiness is constant. Okay, which is a feeling aggregate. Okay, and then we go to the jhana order. For the question why the jhanas are there from jhana 1 to jhana 5 or more is because Buddha told so. The first reason is because Buddha taught it in this manner, from jhana 1 to jhana 5 and above. And another thing is, this is the order in which the jhana proceeds. For example, I do believe that a being, when they concentrate or when they sit in meditation, first go through the first jhana, and then comes to the second jhana, and then to third jhana, fourth and fifth, and so on. But without experiencing the first jhana, one can never go to the second jhana. This is not possible. But if one time you have experienced the first jhana, I think it is possible to directly go to the second jhana, under the condition that there is no need of, for example, when a meditator, for example, here the when a meditator, for example, has mastered the first jhana, and then there is no need for the meditator to reflect upon things. When he or she sits for meditation, directly takes the objects which come in the mind door to scrutiny. So the concentration is, or the mental purity is higher, so that the objects through the mind door is directly applied for scrutiny or vichara. Thereby reflection is abolished. Mental reflection, vitakka, is abolished. So such a meditator, I think the case of me, I directly directly went to the second jhana. I was able to go directly to the second jhana, and after experiencing the second jhana, and then later when I was I could directly get to the third jhana without getting the first or the second jhana. So it depends on the purity of the mind, so directly the person, meditator, or some people can get the higher jhanas, or they can go to the first jhana or second jhana or third jhana without meditation also. This is also the case. So the third jhana, which we can see the pure zest, and then the one-pointedness, and then in the fourth jhana directly one can go actually, but it is customary to jump from the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and come down if possible. But I am not aware of such things. I will try it in the future. But so in the fourth jhana, directly one can go to the fourth jhana and can also see the experience the constant happiness that is filling you, that's filling all over your body or all over around you as a bubble. Yes, as a bubble. Wherever you go, there is this feeling of happiness and one-pointedness. And then in the Samma Samadhi, in the fifth jhana, in the weaker level, what I have seen is there is equanimity feeling, and there is, for me, generally I don't want to do anything at all. I just wanted to sleep. I just slept every day because I didn't get the feeling of doing anything at all. So, and one-pointedness was certainly there, and this equanimous feeling was there, and it was also constant for 7 days for me. So, which is the chitta number 59. First jhana was chitta number 55. Second jhana in the wholesome level, which we can cultivate, is the chitta number 56. Third jhana was chitta number 57. Fourth jhana is chitta number 58. And Samma Samadhi, or the perfect mindfulness, which is the fifth jhana, so which is the feeling is equanimity, which is perfect equanimity, which is the chitta number 59 on a lesser scale, which was weaker. Of course, even in the weaker level, it was so effective. I was so surprised that it is so effective, and it has given me a lasting change in my life. Even though it was on a weaker scale, weaker level, So so the jhana order is the way Buddha taught, and is the way one proceeds for the first time, and later you can directly go to any jhana depending on your mastery of jhana attainments. So and then now let us see the first jhana chitta. I just put the JC, something like this, jhana chitta, which is a type of chitta, of course, first jhana chitta. So the first jhana chitta, as we have seen in the so this is the one. I will put this here. So here. So for example, the first jhana chitta has the it is the consciousness expressions or impressions, or can be taken as something like this, taken as something like bubbles that are sticking to the jhanas. For example, here the happiness feeling is sticking with the first jhana, zest is sticking with the first jhana, one-pointedness is sticking with first jhana, and the reflection vitakka is sticking with the first jhana, and scrutiny is sticking with the first jhana. So the first jhana has the vitakka, reflection, scrutiny, zest it has, one-pointedness it has, and then also has the happiness, as we can see here. First jhana has reflection, scrutiny, zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. So, and the why I have made this jhana chitta, all chittas I will be representing with the as the dumbbell shaped form, because of we have seen this one in the previous lectures here. The chitta or the suddhataka or suddhastaka has the has 8 parts actually. Attaka means 8 parts. The 4 pure parts and the altered states of these 4 basics are called as the Patavi, earth, Apo, liquid, Vayo is air, and Tejo is fire or energy element. The 4 elements are there, and then the altered states of this. For example, Patavi, the earth, is the Oja or the nutritive essence element, and the liquid element Apo, altered state, is the Rasa, taste element, and then the Vayo, air element or the movement element, the altered state is smell or the air element altered state, and then Tejo or the fire or energy element is the altered state is Varna, color, state of color. So this 8 Suddhataka is generally called as the purest form is called as the Chitta, pure form. So this I will always be using to represent Chitta, whether it be Jhana Chitta or any other Chitta in that case. So the Jhana Chitta, I just put J here, JC. So first Jhana Chitta has the 5 things here. So when more things are there, the feeling of happiness or zest is felt less, to a lesser extent, and when for example in the second jhana, as you can see, the my mental reflection or the vitakka is removed. Where is he? Not here. So the scrutiny, vichara, is stronger. Sukha is stronger. Zest or piti is stronger, and one-pointedness is stronger than the first jhana, because the distraction of reflection is lesser. So in the third jhana, the distraction of scrutiny itself is removed, and hence there is better, there is a very pure zest. There is happy feeling, but it is felt in a lesser extent, to a lesser extent, and one-pointedness. Yeah, 1 minute. Hello, there was a break in the video, but let's continue. So we were in the third jhana chitta. So the third jhana chitta attracts the consciousness impression of one-pointedness, the consciousness impression of the feeling, happy feeling or sukha vedana, and then the consciousness impression or the cetasika of zest or piti is the excitement of the mind. The zest, as we saw, belongs to the mental fabrication, and the happiness belongs to the feeling, the cetas, the aggregate of feeling, and this one, zest, belongs to the aggregate of mental fabrication. So in the third jhana, we can very clearly see the excitement. The excitement is felt. Of course, the one-pointedness is much clearer. There is, of course, happiness, but excitement is more, and you will be able to hear very clearly. My hearing was much clearer. And then going to the fourth jhana, when we cultivate the fourth jhana chitta, the zest, piti, the consciousness impression of zest or piti, cetasika of piti falls away, and there is only two consciousness impressions that is exhibited. One is the one-pointedness, which is always there in all jhanas, and along with that, since the one-pointedness cannot exist alone or cannot work alone, so it takes here the happiness feeling or the sukha vedana as its partner, yes. So in the fourth jhana chitta, what we can see is the partner of one-pointedness is the happy feeling, and the happy feeling is so constant when you get the fourth jhana. It's very constant and can be very clearly experienced on the face, where the five sense doors, the sense door of seeing, sense door of hearing, sense door of smelling, sense door of tasting on the tongue, and then the sense door of touching is also there on the face. So it's much clearly felt on the face, something like a flame on a candle wick, you know. You will feel the happiness just like a flame on your head. Actually, on your head. This is what I felt. It is like a flame of happiness, and the happiness is very constant. It doesn't decrease, it doesn't increase. It is just very steady and constant. The happiness is very, very nice. Of course, it feels like yeah, it feels so you are so contented and very happy. Yes, and then going to the fifth jhana. In the fifth jhana, what we see is the happiness happiness, or the sukha vedana falls away. On top of it, the one-pointedness, ekagata, cetasika ekagata, or the one-pointedness consciousness impression, takes as its partner the equanimity feeling, or the equanimous feeling, or the upeka vedana, which I have represented as the face of an alien. As you know, in the equanimous feeling, you don't feel happy or sad. The mind is very balanced and very in the middle, actually. And I felt equanimity in a very clear manner. I didn't feel happy or sad, and one-pointedness was there, very clear, and my eyesight was very clear. I was able to see the ants moving when I was able to very clearly detect the ants moving on the floor when I was doing the walking meditation in the fifth jhana. After having attained the fifth jhana, I was doing the walking meditation. So the hearing was very clear, of course. And the disturbance from the sounds was not there, was very less, or was not there, as I can say. And the fifth jhana, what I got was of a very weak level, but still it was very considerable, and the equanimous feeling was very clear. Okay, so yeah, now let's finish this lecture by summarizing, by seeing the seeing the stanza here. So the stanza is we are in the 18th stanza, which is the fine material sphere, wholesome consciousness, or the rupa vachara kusala chittani. So here what we can see in the stanza is, in the first stanza is vitakka, vichara, pīti, sukha, ekagata. So these five, see, vitakka, vichara, pīti, sukha, ekagata, sahitam. Yeah, so the thing is, these five are we can see here in the first jhana. So here is the vitakka, vichara, sukha, pīti, sukha, and then ekagata. Sahitam is these all. Sahitam is with together, arising with together. Vitakka, vichara, pīti, sukha, ekagata. Or the vitakka is the initial reflection when you sit for meditation, and then the vichara is the scrutiny is there, scrutiny factor is there, scrutiny part is there, the jhana part is there, pīti is the certain excitement or the zest is there, and sukha is the happiness is there. Happiness feeling is there, and then ekagata is the one-pointedness is there, and all sahitam with together is the together forms the Abhdhamma jhana. Abhdhamma is the first, jhana is the jhana. In the Indian languages and the Sri Lankan language, we call it as the dhyana, which means mindfulness, or the first Pratama jhana is the first level of mindfulness, attainment of the first jhana. Kusala Chittam. Kusala is the wholesome, Chittam is the consciousness. So which is the chitta number 55, in which we have the Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, and Ekagata is there, which is the chitta number 55, which is the first jhana, which is belonging to the wholesome consciousness. Now going to the now let's read the second one. In the second one, it is Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, Sahitam, Dutiya Jhana, Kusala Chittam. Dutiya is the second jhana. Dutiya is second, Jhana is jhana, Kusala is wholesome, Chittam is the consciousness. So as you can see, the Vitakka has fallen away, and there is this Vichara. See here, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata. 4 are there from 5. Now in the second jhana, 1 has Vitakka, the initial reflection has fallen away, and we have the Vichara is the scrutiny, and then scrutinizing the object that is coming through the mind, scrutiny. Piti is the excitement, zest, and then Sukha is the happiness feeling. Ekagata is one-pointedness. Sahitam is it's all together. Becomes the Dutiya jhana. Dutiya is the second jhana, Kusala Chittam, as you can see here in the wholesome this thing, we can see the chitta number 56, which doesn't have reflection, has fallen away. So it starts with scrutiny, Vichara, Piti, zest is there, and then Sukha is there, Ekagata, one-pointedness is there. These all 4 are there, which is the chitta number 56, belonging to the wholesome consciousness. So now going to the number 3, Piti. Now we can see that Vichara has fallen away. So Piti, Sukha, Ekagata. 3 are there, Piti, Sukha, and Ekagata. Sahitam is together. Tatiya jhana. Tatiya is the third jhana. Kusala Chittam. Kusala Chittam is wholesome consciousness. So Piti, let us see, Piti, Sukha, and Ekagata. Piti is the certain excitement or the zest. Sukha is the happiness feeling. Ekagata is one-pointedness. All 3 are there in the Tatiya, third jhana. Kusala Chittam is the wholesome consciousness. Let us see here. So in the third jhana, there is no reflection. So there is no reflection. There is no Vitakka or reflection. There is no Vichara or scrutiny is not there. But there is zest here, as you can see. Piti is there. Happiness feeling, Sukha Vedana is there. Happiness feeling is there, and one-pointedness is there, which corresponds to the chitta number 57, which belongs to the wholesome, which is the wholesome consciousness, which is one of the wholesome consciousness, chitta number 57, which belongs to the third jhana. We always take the Abhdhamma method to count the jhanas here. So which is the third jhana. So now going to the next one, the fourth jhana. As you can see in the number 4, Sukha, Ekagata, only 2 are there. Sukha is the happy feeling, and Ekagata is one-pointedness. Sahitam is together. Chatuda is the fourth. Chatuda jhana, Kusala Chittam. Chatuda jhana, Kusala Chittam. So fourth jhana has only 2. Sukha is the happy feeling, and Ekagata is the one-pointedness. Let's see here. So in the fourth jhana, there is no reflection vitakka, there is no scrutiny vichara is not there, piti zest is not there, but the happy feeling sukha vedana is here, and the ekagata one-pointedness is there. And the one-pointedness, as we can know, we should know that it cannot function alone. It will always take as a partner one of the consciousness impression, or the one of the cetasika. Here it takes the feeling of happiness. Ekagata takes as a partner the feeling of happiness, sukha vedana, and this forms the chitta number 58, which belongs to the wholesome consciousness. And moving to the fifth jhana. In the fifth jhana, we can see upekha, ekagata, sahitam. Upekha is the equanimous feeling or equanimity, along with ekagata is one-pointedness, sahitam together forms the panchama, is the fifth jhana. Fifth jhana, kusala chittanchati, means kusala is the wholesome chitta, chittanchati in all, is all that we have. Let's see this here. In the fifth jhana, which is also called as the samma samadhi, or the perfect samadhi, or the perfect mindfulness state, I am not very sure if it can be called as the concentration, because I think it cannot be called as the concentrations. It has to be called as mindfulness, perfect mindfulness. As you can see, the mindfulness keeps on increasing as the jhana increases. As you sit in meditation, your mindfulness increases to some level and goes to the first jhana, and then moves to the second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and fifth jhana here, and so on. So the fifth jhana, which is the samma samadhi, or the perfect samadhi, here the one-pointedness, the cetasika of one-pointedness, or the consciousness impression of one-pointedness, takes as its partner the cetasika of the upekha vedana, or the equanimous feeling consciousness impression. So, which forms the chitta number 59, which belongs to the wholesome consciousness. And all these chittas we can cultivate here on earth, or any being can cultivate who are above the who do not fall in the four realms, lower realms. Below us, or the woeful realms of titans, of animals, of ghosts and hell. But from humans and above, we can cultivate it. And and let's see again so now the Imani pancha, these are all the five. Pancha is 5. P Rupavachara. Rupavachara is the fine material sphere, or the fine material sphere. Kusala chittani nama is all. The kusala is the wholesome chittas. It's all P, and all these are all the some or the particles. We are not going into the particles, which are not very important. Pāli language has lots of particles, which we will see in one of the lectures. So by this we come to the end of the lecture number for the so here the stanza number 18. We have come to the end of stanza number 18. So let's finish. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Let all beings equally share all the good karmas that I have amassed from the very beginning of my existences, from the past, present and future, and let all beings equally share it, and let all beings be happy by that. And I request all the beings from the past, present and future to please relieve me from the karmic debts that I have with them, so that I may attain Nibbana as soon as possible. And I also willingly and wholeheartedly forgive all the beings from the past, present and future, and I relieve them of all the karmic debts that they have with me. Let them be free. And I also beg the Buddha, Pacceka Buddha, and all the Arahants, Buddhas and the Arahants, Pacceka Buddhas, to please forgive me for any mistakes that I might have done to them in the past, present, and in the future also. And I request the Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, and the Arahants to please bless me to attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Thank you.